broadcast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
All right, take a look outside. It is the calm before the storm. That is our roofing dog, Inette Gibson, sitting area hospital camera. And actually, that looks really nice right now, but it's going to look very different this time tomorrow. Satellite or radar picture showing a lot of cloud cover across the area beginning to filter back in after we've had some of that sunshine. Temperatures actually aren't too bad. We made it into the 40s in some areas, 40 in Effingham, 38 in Springfield. Your evening planner, no issues for the commute home tonight. Take a look at what the radar may look like around this time tomorrow. Snow heading our way. We're tracking the latest on amounts and timing coming up. WCIA News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
The mother of a Muhammad woman stabbed to death took the stand today. Hear what she has to say.
Plus, a fire destroyed a family's home. Why that fire was so difficult to fight.
Your kids' schools are getting a report card, and the grades are coming from parents.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
The evidence that you will hear over the course of this trial will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this defendant, Michael Henslick, is the person who committed that murder.
Day one of the trial for the man accused of murdering a Muhammad woman is in the books. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. Jennifer is off tonight. Michael Henslick is accused of sexually assaulting and stabbing Holly Cassano to death in 2009. He faces up to life in prison if convicted. WCIA 3's Aaron Eads was in the courtroom today. He's now live in our newsroom. So Aaron, Henslick's defense team says he did not do this.
Yeah, day one, Henslick's lawyers haven't even called any of their own witnesses yet, but they're already trying to poke holes in the state's case. State's attorney Julia Reitz opened the trial by saying she would prove Henslick murdered Cassano in a brutal, cruel, and wanton way. She told the jury they would hear Henslick confess to the crime in his own words in a video of when he was interrogated by investigators. Cassano's mother, Tony, took the stand, saying Holly was supposed to come over to her place the next day. When she didn't show up and wouldn't answer her phone, Tony went to her daughter's home and found her lying on the bedroom floor, cold, naked, and unresponsive. She said a prayer, then went outside and called 911. A now retired state police crime scene investigator described how he collected evidence from the house, but Henslick's defense team questioned whether he collected enough of it. We'll tell you more about that at 6. Live in the newsroom, Aaron Eads, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Aaron, we'll see you then. We have an update tonight in a child exploitation and pornography case that stretches 2 counties. Dennis West was arrested in December 2018 after a victim called police. She told them he had nude photos of her while she was underage. Police found evidence that there were at least 2 victims in Piatt and Douglas counties. They found explicit pictures on his phone. West was sentenced to more than 26 years in federal prison today.
Glenwood High School is mourning after a junior died yesterday. Joey Sandhaus had the flu, which quickly turned into a bacterial infection in his lungs. He was in a medically induced coma last week. The district allowed students to stay home from school today if needed. The school's scheduled basketball games were canceled tonight.
First and foremost, obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with his family and loved ones, and just a tremendously difficult time. And we know everybody handles grief like this in different ways, and we want to be respectful of that, and we felt like it just was in the best interest just to set aside things like sports tonight.
Sandhaus played on the basketball team at Glenwood High School as a freshman and sophomore. This year, he was planning to run track.
Illinois is the first state to start testing for coronavirus. The Department of Public Health is now able to do this test. Specimens will be sent to a lab in Chicago. The results are typically available within 24 hours. The department says this will allow them to detect new cases earlier and prevent the spread. Right now, there's only been 2 confirmed coronavirus cases in Illinois, both in the Chicago area. We have new information from Piatt County tonight. A couple in Cerro Gordo has to find a new place to stay after their home was destroyed in a fire.
It started before 7 last night on West Carter Street. Crews were there for more than 5 hours. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting is in the control room tonight. So, Courtney, why did this take so long?
Well, Paul, it didn't help that 2 of the fire hydrants near the home were broken, so fire crews had to shuttle water in from fire hydrants in the other areas of town. Now, some of those fire hydrants are older and they have to be checked around once a year to help prevent issues. But Fire Captain Michael Powell says that age of those fire hydrants makes them more likely to stop working. Luckily, there were plenty of departments surrounding that community that were able to help.
We had 15 different departments with 13 different tankers that started shuttling water to us, and Argenta was down the road with a porta tank set up.
Captain Powell, who you just heard from, says he was working the fire until at least midnight. One of his biggest concerns was making sure the fire didn't spread to the two homes on either side of that house. Now, the fire started in the back of the home and then spread to the rest of it. One couple and their dog lived there, but they were not home whenever the fire started. And the state fire marshal was there today to investigate the cause of the fire. They don't know what the cause is yet. The community of Cerro Gordo is helping the family by coming together and collecting donations. We'll have more information about that tonight at 6. Live in the control room, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Good to hear the community is stepping up. Courtney, thanks. A man is accused of trying to burn down his mother's house. Urbana police say Michael Patton's 72-year-old mom called them last week. She said he was threatening to kill her. 2 days later, police responded to a fire in the woman's garage. They found a fire-starting log and a pile of clothes on the floor. Patton's facing charges of arson and harassment.
We have a follow-up from Christian County. We told you a Taylorville man died after falling into a grain bin yesterday. 61-year-old David Lois was working in rural Morrisonville when he became trapped. Today, we talked with experts about why this season could be dangerous for workers.
This year we had, in some parts of the state and some parts of the country, we had grain that just is not storing very well. So that's why we're concerned that we're going to see an increase in engulfments and entrapments in grain bins.
He suggests locking and tagging out equipment before going in and having an observer with you at all times. Danville is trying to stop people from parking in restricted lots with harsher punishments. The Public Works Committee will hear a proposal tonight to increase the cost of parking tickets downtown. The initial fine will go from $5 to $10 and increase to $25 if you don't pay it in 3 days. Then it'll go to $35 if it's paid past 10 days. If the plan is approved, it will move on to a vote with the whole city council.
The Piatt County Board may soon become a Second Amendment sanctuary county. What that means is the county wants state leaders to follow the U.S. Constitution when it comes to gun laws. Most counties in the state are already sanctuary counties. The only counties that aren't are Rock Island, Lee, DeKalb, Cook, and Piatt. Supporters say this is a way for counties to say they support gun owners.
This is not just guns either. The Second Amendment applies to all arms. In other words, the knives in your kitchen are arms, and this applies to those. The right to bear arms should not be infringed.
If Piatt County becomes a sanctuary county, it won't change any laws. The county board is voting on the resolution Thursday.
The Illini are trying to break a 2-game losing streak. We'll tell you what it's going to take to get that done against Michigan State.
Plus, kids are usually the ones getting a report card. Now the schools are being scored. We'll tell you how the public school system is doing.